Have you ever noticed something profound? When a person walks a path of great purpose, those who stand against them don't just face disagreement, they seem to encounter the universe itself. Have you felt this? It's a phenomenon many have witnessed, but few truly understand. The common belief is that it's about some cosmic battle, a fight between light and dark. But the truth is far quieter and much deeper. It's not about divine punishment or cosmic revenge. Ancient wisdom teaches us that the universe is a mirror, flawlessly reflecting the energy we put out. This isn't a story of vengeance. This is a story of resonance, reflection, and the immutable laws of nature. Today, we will explore the 9 profound truths that unfold for those who choose to obstruct a soul aligned with its calling. This journey will offer you not just understanding, but a roadmap to maintaining your own unshakable peace, knowing that the universe is an ally to your purpose. For all of us walking this path of growth and understanding, this space is our sanctuary. If you feel a connection to this wisdom, I invite you to become a part of our community. Subscribe and join a family of souls dedicated to living a life of purpose. It's a simple click, but it's an act of alignment with your own journey of discovery. Now, as you prepare to receive these insights, I want you to make a quiet, powerful declaration. Find the comment section and simply write, "My path is protected." Let this not be just words on a screen, but a mantra that anchors this truth deep within your being. In typing it, you are reminding yourself of the unshakable reality that your journey is guided and your spirit is resilient. Let's begin. 1. Their words begin to lose their power. Have you ever tried to hold water in your fist? The harder you squeeze, the faster it escapes through your fingers. This is precisely what happens to the words of those who speak against a resonant purpose. At first, their narrative may seem strong, compelling, perhaps even damaging. But over time, something transformative happens. Their stories begin to fray at the edges. You see this in your own life. Think of a time someone tried to define you with their negativity, spreading stories or criticisms. In the moment, it felt heavy, like a cloak you were forced to wear. But as you continued to walk your path, as you kept living your truth with integrity, their words began to sound hollow, distant. The community that once might have listened now sees the clear disconnect between what is said about you and who you truly are. Their arguments become circular, their accusations thin, and eventually, people simply stop listening. From a space of deep awareness, we find that truth carries a unique vibration, a resonance that falsehoods can never replicate. A lie requires constant energy to be maintained, but the truth is self-sustaining. It is a fundamental law of energy that vibrations of a lower frequency cannot overpower those of a higher one. The energy of a soul committed to its purpose is one of authenticity and creation. The energy of opposition is one of discord and dismantling. It's like trying to drown out the sound of a symphony with a single dissonant note. For a moment, it might be jarring, but it can never overcome the harmony. Their words lose power not because you fight back, but because you simply continue to be. Your consistent harmony reveals their discord for what it is, and the universe naturally favors clarity over confusion. 2. They inevitably confront their own reflection. Have you ever stood in a room with perfectly placed mirrors, an infinity room, where every angle reflects you back upon yourself? There's no escaping what you see. For those who project negativity onto a purpose-driven soul, life itself becomes this room of mirrors. The very judgment, chaos, and insecurity they attempt to cast onto you becomes the landscape of their own experience. It's an almost uncanny phenomenon to witness. The person who constantly accuses others of deceit finds themselves entangled in webs of lies. The one who creates division and drama soon finds their own life filled with inexplicable turmoil and broken relationships. They may not see the connection consciously, but they will feel it profoundly. Ancient wisdom across cultures speaks of this as the spiritual principle of reflection. The world doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you are. The energy you emanate becomes the reality you inhabit. When someone focuses their energy on another with malice or ill intent, they are creating a powerful vortex of that same energy. The universe, in its impartial wisdom, doesn't distinguish that this energy was intended for you. It only recognizes the signal being broadcast. And so, it delivers more of that signal's equivalent back to the sender. It's a deep and often painful lesson, not a punishment. The universe is offering them a powerful opportunity for self-awareness, showing them precisely the energy they are creating in the world. They are not fighting you. They are wrestling with their own shadow reflected back at them, a spiritual battle against the one enemy they cannot escape, themselves. 3. The pathways of opportunity mysteriously narrow for them. Think of life as a river. When you are aligned with your purpose, you are flowing with the current. There's an ease, a grace. Opportunities seem to appear exactly when needed, like tributaries feeding into your stream. Now, imagine someone choosing to fight that current, spending their energy trying to dam up another's flow. What happens? Their own vessel runs aground. This is a subtle yet powerful consequence. For those who actively try to hinder or sabotage another's journey, their own paths to progress and abundance seem to constrict. They find themselves working harder for less result. Promotions they were expecting are suddenly delayed. Projects that seemed promising inexplicably lose funding or support. They feel as if they are pushing against an invisible, unyielding force. The laws of nature itself reveal this truth. Creation and expansion are the universe's default states. Energy is meant to flow, to build, to become. When a person dedicates their mental and emotional resources to obstruction, they are moving against this fundamental cosmic tide. They are tuning their own energetic frequency to scarcity and blockage. The law of attraction, which is simply a universal principle of like attracts like, responds not to their desires, but to their dominant energetic state. Since their energy is focused on closing doors for you, the universe simply mirrors this intention, and doors begin closing in their own reality. This isn't a celestial punishment, it's a spiritual redirection. The universe is gently, or sometimes forcefully, showing them that their energy is being misapplied. They cannot create and destroy simultaneously. The effort spent trying to dismantle your path is energy they are stealing from their own, leaving their own gardens to wither while they obsess over yours. 4. They experience a deepening sense of isolation. Have you ever walked into a room where someone is harboring deep resentment? You may not know the details, but you can feel it. The air is thick, heavy. Connection is difficult. It's like the very atmosphere around them repels intimacy and joy. This is the inner world made manifest for the person who stands against another's light. They become an island, not of their choosing, but by the natural consequence of their own emotional state. This isolation is a profound and creeping coldness. Friends may start to distance themselves without a clear reason. Family members find conversations with them draining. Colleagues interact with them only when necessary. The person finds themselves surrounded by people, yet feeling utterly alone. They mistake this as a betrayal from the outside world, failing to realize it is the out-picturing of their inner discord. Negativity is contagious, but so is its absence. People are intuitively drawn to warmth, light, and inspiration. A being dedicated to opposing another's journey radiates an unconscious signal of bitterness and complaint, and other souls, seeking their own peace and growth, will naturally drift away from that frequency. From a space of deep awareness, we understand that connection is a function of energetic harmony. We connect where we resonate. The vibration of a person committed to their purpose is often one of expansion, compassion, and positivity. The vibration of a person fixated on another's perceived threat is one of contraction, suspicion, and bitterness. These two frequencies cannot harmoniously coexist in a sustained relationship. As a result, the social fabric around them begins to dissolve. Their loneliness is not a punishment inflicted upon them. It is the reflection of the emotional home they have built for themselves. The wall they tried to erect to block your path has, in fact, become the boundary of their own solitary confinement. 5. Their inner world becomes a state of unshakable restlessness. Imagine trying to sleep in a room where a single faucet drips relentlessly all night long. At first, it's a minor annoyance. But over time, that tiny, persistent sound becomes maddening, robbing you of all peace. This is the internal experience of someone who holds on to animosity towards another. They are carrying a constant, low-grade agitation, a spiritual dissonance that never truly allows them to rest. Externally, they might appear successful or put together, but internally, they are living in a state of chronic stress. This manifests as anxiety, sleep disturbances, a feeling that something is always wrong. Holding a grudge or actively working against someone requires a tremendous amount of mental and emotional energy. The mind is forced to replay narratives of victimhood, rehearse arguments, and constantly monitor your progress as a threat. This state of inner turmoil is exhausting, both psychically and physically. Their nervous system exists in a perpetual fight or flight mode, impacting their health and their ability to feel joy. The laws of nature teach us that peace is a state of equilibrium. It's the point of balance, of alignment. By focusing their life force on opposition, they are deliberately choosing to live in a state of imbalance. This isn't a metaphysical concept, it's a psycho-spiritual reality. The soul knows when it is not aligned with its own core values of kindness, connection, and growth. That inner conflict manifests as a deep and persistent restlessness. Their lack of peace is not a curse placed upon them from outside. It is the natural consequence of disconnecting from their own spirit. They are haunted, not by you, but by the constant, dripping sound of their own inner discord, a reminder that they have strayed far from the tranquil shores of their own true nature. 6. Their true intentions are eventually brought to light. Have you ever seen how the tide works? It pulls away from the shore, and for a moment, you can see all the rocks, shells, and debris that were hidden beneath the waves. The same inevitable clarity comes to the intentions of those who operate from a place of negativity. They may cloak their actions in concern, logic, or righteousness, but eventually the tide of truth recedes and the motivation beneath is revealed for all to see. This process is often slow, but it is unerring. It might be a single, unguarded comment that reveals their envy. It might be a pattern of behavior that onlookers begin to notice, connecting the dots of their constant criticism. Often, their own attempts to discredit you backfire, casting a spotlight not on your flaws, but on their obsession. People start to ask, why are they so focused on this? What is their real agenda? The very narrative they worked so hard to control escapes their grasp and turns into a story about them. From a space of deep awareness, we realize the universe has a natural inclination towards transparency and balance. You cannot sustain a farce, aid forever, when your actions and energy are misaligned. The effort it takes to maintain a mask eventually becomes too heavy. Cracks appear. A person walking their path of purpose is moving in alignment with a powerful, creative force. A person opposing that path is acting from a place of fear or scarcity. In time, the resonant power of authenticity will always outshine the brittle shield of pretense. The unmasking that occurs is not a dramatic, vengeful act from the cosmos. It is the simple, quiet, and powerful consequence of inconsistency. Just as water eventually finds its level, truth inevitably finds its light, and what was hidden in the depths is gently, but clearly revealed on the shore. 7. Life presents them with an unavoidable lesson. Have you ever tried to ignore a persistent knocking at your door? At first, you might pretend not to hear it, but if the knocking continues, it becomes impossible to ignore. For a person resisting the flow of purpose in another's life, the universe often begins to knock. It sends a lesson, specifically tailored to the nature of their resistance, and this lesson will grow louder until it is acknowledged. This is not a random misfortune. It is a moment of cosmic instruction, a crucible designed for their own potential growth. A person trying to sabotage someone's financial success may suddenly face a severe and unexpected financial crisis of their own. An individual spreading gossip to ruin another's reputation may find their own good name publicly and irrevocably tarnished. The theme of the lesson directly mirrors the nature of their opposition. It's as if life itself is saying, "Let me show you how this energy truly feels." This comes from a universal law that is more fundamental than karma, the law of resonant learning. The universe's goal is not to punish, but to teach. By engaging in a certain negative behavior, the person is broadcasting a powerful signal of interest in that specific curriculum of energy. The universe, as the great teacher, responds by providing a direct, immersive experience of that lesson. It's an opportunity for them to develop the empathy and understanding they currently lack. This unavoidable lesson is often their greatest blessing in disguise, though it may feel like their deepest crisis. It is a chance to step out of the cycle of blame and opposition and into a state of self-reflection. It is the universe's most compassionate and sometimes most severe attempt to call them back to their own path of growth and away from their preoccupation with yours. 8. Their illusion of control begins to crumble. Think of a child meticulously building a sandcastle right at the edge of the water. They have every wall perfect, every tower just so. They feel a sense of power, of mastery. But they are building in defiance of the ocean's nature, and eventually the tide will come in, not with malice, but simply because it is the nature of the tide to do so. Their world, which felt so solid and under their command, is gently and inexorably washed away. This is what happens to those who derive their sense of control from managing, manipulating, or hindering the lives of others. Their core motivation is often a deep-seated fear of their own powerlessness. By trying to control you, they create a fragile illusion of strength. They pull strings, they strategize, they interfere, but they are building their sandcastle against the tide of a divinely guided purpose. It is a battle they cannot win. The crumbling is a slow and disorienting process for them. An ally they counted on suddenly has a change of heart. A system they thought they could manipulate develops a new, unforeseen rule. Your path continues to unfold in ways they could not predict or prevent. Their sense of frustration mounts because their primary tool, control, is no longer working. They are confronted with the terrifying realization that there are forces at play much larger than their own ego. From a space of deep awareness, we understand that true power is not control, but surrender. It is alignment with the flow of life. Those walking a path of purpose have often learned this lesson. They are co-creating with the universe, not dictating to it. The person who opposes them is still trying to be the puppeteer, failing to see that they are tangled in their own strings. The loss of control they experience is the universe mercifully breaking their addiction to a false power. It's a painful but necessary shattering, creating the space for them to perhaps discover the quiet, unshakable strength that comes not from controlling the world, but from mastering oneself. 9. They must witness your unshakable peace. This, perhaps, is the most profound and quietly transformative consequence of all. It is not a dramatic event, but a steady, undeniable reality. After all their efforts, after all their words and schemes, the person who sought to disrupt your journey must simply bear witness to your continued serenity. Imagine their state of inner turmoil, the restlessness we spoke of. Their minds are filled with your story, their emotions are tied to your actions, and yet they look at you and they see calm. They see you moving forward, not with arrogance, but with a quiet confidence. You are thriving, not in spite of their opposition, but almost indifferent to it. Your happiness is not a weapon against them, but it functions as a perfect mirror to their own misery. This unshakable peace becomes the final, silent teacher. It demonstrates more powerfully than any argument that their efforts have had no real impact on the core of your being. It shows them that your source of strength, joy, and validation comes from within, from a place they cannot touch. It quietly dismantles their entire worldview, which is predicated on the idea that external circumstances and other people's opinions have the power to make or break a person. Ancient wisdom teaches us that the highest victory is the one won without a battle. Your peace is that victory. It's not about gloating or proving them wrong. It's about embodying the truth that inner alignment is the only real armor one needs. By living in this state, you provide them with the most powerful evidence that their entire approach to life, one built on external opposition and control, is fundamentally flawed. They are left to ponder the source of your strength, and in that questioning, a seed of true self, reflection, may finally have the chance to grow. Your tranquility becomes the inescapable lesson that they can't fight an external enemy to fix an internal emptiness. So you see, the journey is not about defeating enemies. It is about understanding the flawless and compassionate logic of the universe. The things that happen are not curses or punishments, but profound reflections, lessons, and invitations for every soul to return to its own path. Your only task is to keep walking your path. Tend to your own garden, nurture your own light. The rest is simply the beautiful, impersonal, and perfect unfolding of universal law. Let your energy be focused on creation, not conflict. Let your mind be filled with purpose, not paranoia. If this message has resonated with you today, I invite you once more, not just to listen, but to commit. To commit to your own growth, your own peace, your own magnificent journey. Subscribe to this channel as a promise to yourself to continue seeking wisdom and walking in alignment. You are not alone on this path. We walk it together. Thank you for the gift of your time.